Welcome into the Beat Sessions, your place for all things music. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about this new record from The entitled Ensoulment. That was released on September 6th. This is the 7th studio album of non-soundtrack music for the brainchild of Matt Johnson and his follow-up to 2000's Naked Self. Now, in between that time frame, he has been very busy indeed, and it's one of the first things I want to talk about in this review. The genre of post-punk and how there's so many different influences that drive that sound and the different bands involved with it, that the shift to cinema, the move to making and composing soundtracks definitely makes sense for this guy. His music oftentimes very cinematic. I love that that he had the opportunity and that he did that for himself. I think that's really cool. But super thankful that he's back with this project, actually making the album. First one in almost a quarter of a century. It's so crazy. The second thing I want to talk about with Matt is that there are very few players that can do what he does as far as his abilities as a maestro. There are few people that can rotate players, conceptualize different things with every album, and have different musicians be a part of that and be so consistent. And it's truly a testament to his leadership, to his artistry. He's just really, I think, not talked about as much as he should be. Foundation of the post-punk movement. He's very important to so many different bands. So much influence there that you can hear in what he's done over the years, even if it hasn't necessarily been as prolific as many other artists. But again, you know, the cinematic work that he's been involved with, I'm not really that familiar with it. I'm looking at some of it and it seems kind of obscure. So, you know, if any of you have, you know, any input links, please feel free to drop that in the comments. It'd be great to get some information on that. But, you know, I think that this record, there's so many different things about it as far as bringing Warren Livesey back as in production, and he was involved with Mind Bomb and Infected. So it's really cool to have him back involved with this project, and you feel the energy, the continuity. This is a beautiful record. It plays out extremely well. I love its focus on the gothic. It's just got this spooky feel on so many tracks from start to finish. I feel like oftentimes there's a Cajun influence driving the sound, so I really dig the combination, and I think that there's definitely certainly a blending of those sounds that you hear quite frequently. I think the only thing that bums me out about this record maybe is that Johnny Marr isn't involved with it. Morrissey sucks. Johnny Marr's the man. I love that he's been involved with the you know, throughout the years in this project, on and off. And yeah, I mean, that's maybe the only thing that's missing for me. And I don't want to take anything away from Barry Cottigan. He's doing lead guitar on this record. He sounds fantastic. So not to slight you, my friend. You really did a fine job on this record. Your guitar work is one of the fun things about this record for sure. James Eller on bass, loving that. DC Colliard keyboards, and Earl Harvin on drums. So, you know, this is a great project. This is a record that, you know, I think post-punk really had like a big bright moment about 5-6 years ago, and it certainly has carried over. There's a lot of people that I know that weren't necessarily into the genre prior to that time period, and you know, we all know when went down in 2020. So I think with that downtime that many people have, post-punk is one of the things that I'm discovering personally that a lot of people that I know had a chance to explore and really started to enjoy, which is cool because it's something that I have always loved from a genre standpoint. Some of my favorite bands are inspired by and, you know, and right within this genre. So it's cool to be able to talk about this is a band that, starting off with this channel, going through it throughout the years, I did not think I would have an opportunity to talk about Matt Johnson and this project. So thankful for that, and getting into this thing, Cognitive Dissident. is your opening track. Spooky from the start. I love the atmospherics in this track. It's followed by this really excellent guitar, and then the bass takes hold, and wow, it's definitely a highlight from James on this record. Love the bass work on this opening track. Vocals border on recitative on this track, and throughout the album, it's definitely a frequent thing. I love it. It's definitely working for Matt on this record. And the vocal harmonies that are at play are great on this opening track as well. Some Days I Drink My Coffee by the Grave of William Blake is your second song. Excellent song title. Great transition. That's a marvelous thing about this record as well. 12 songs, about 45-minute runtime on this thing. And there's just this continuity that the flow from each track is beautiful and makes it worth playing this thing from start to finish. I know that some people, you have your habits, and that's totally cool. Respect it, teach their own if you like to hop around. But oftentimes, an artist will truly present something that begs to be listened to just from start to finish. And I think that what Matt is doing with the continuity of this record really is a big cause for that. So give it a shot, check it out. But the transition into Some Days I Drink My Coffee by the Grave of William Blake is fine. It's this mellow acoustic driven track. Spooky, once again, melody in the vocal is phenomenal. And this song has a kind of like a Leonard Cohen, kind of like a House of the Rising Sun from the Animals kind of feel to it a little bit. Kind of like blend, if you could like blend those two things there is what I was feeling. But melody is very unique. It's a fun track. Zen and the Art of Dating is your third song. Thick bass, simple acoustic textures, vocals immediate on this track. Chorus lightens up, and dig the organ on this track. Second verse has funk and soul elements to it. I'd say it's probably one of the weaker tracks on the record, but it's still solid. I think it still plays out well, and it's a fun component to this record. Kissing the Ring of POTUS is your fourth track. Mid-tempo drums, simple keyboard and guitar, bit of a trip-hop feel on this thing that I noticed. And I love the vocal harmonies once again on this particular song. Funky rock element, and the chorus is really, really fun on this song. The title's fun. Lyrically, it's I think Zen and the Art of Dating, mentioned it wasn't my favorites. It's there's a lot of things thematically that are exploring dark territory, war, politics, life and death, all these things. And love enters dark territory, but I think that's versus Kissing the Ring of POTUS, which that's a great song title. It's a great song too. Your fifth track, Life After Life. There we go, talking about death here. Drum driven, light guitars, got a bit of like a bossa nova feel to it. Bass kicks in for a light walk. Really dig that element to it. Chorus hits full. It's got a really nice groove that gets established. Fun song. I Want to Wake Up With You is your sixth track. Great jazz flair on this particular track. The piano is really powerful but minimal. It's nicely done. I love the bass that walks along with it. Chorus is dark and moody, but it's got this nice complementary light pop flair to it that's working really well. Down by the Frozen River. Not a Neil Young cover. Almost a Neil Young cover, but not. Down by the it's such a bad joke. I'm sorry. Down by the Frozen River is your seventh track. Oh, the piano on this thing is just brilliant though. Like it's great to open. A combination of blues and jazz on this thing. The verse is minimal. Recitative vocals really coming into play here, and just nails that spooky vibe as well. I love that feel that carries this record. Rising Above the Need is your eighth track. Psychedelic and soulful guitar to open this up. Simple percussion to open. Minimal with an excellent groove. Really nice moments of minimalism on this record. Chorus fills out with a great hook on this particular song. And it's going to lead into your ninth track, Linoleum Smooth, to the Stockinged Foot. This song has got this atmospheric synths to open it. Soft electric percussion and vocals a little different, I feel, from the vocal performances that are playing out on this record. It's unique and fun. Shifts, textures, and nuances. The brass and the frenzied strings that come in on this song are super cool. Definitely a highlight for me. Appreciated that component of the song. Where Do We Go When We Die? Your 10th track is got this simple rhythm with a mellow arpeggiated riff. Track carries this feel from start to finish. It's got this great guitar work though. Love the play that's there, and a subtle. It feels like a bit of a Latin kind of like flamenco influence, maybe a combination of those things. Kind of really like tough to pick it out. It's a great riff. I definitely feel like it's being driven by quite a few things. I hope you remember the things I can't forget is your penultimate and 11th track. Great opening riff, simple, just foot and hand percussion. I just like that, just like that minimalism. When it always makes me think of Freddie Mercury and "We Will Rock You." Just wanting to get the audience involved, doing something that's, I mean, really just so primal and just so basic, but it's so fundamentally human. I freaking love that about it. I love the bass that rolls in as this song really, I feel takes that like Carnival kind of like Cajun feel for sure. Very strong on this with the accordion component as well. And then A Rainy Day in May is your final track. And great tone in the guitar. Got this like kind of surf desert rock component driving it. Mid-tempo drums hit just right. Soft bass work in to carry this track. And just a beautiful addition to Matt's catalog. I'm really excited about this record. Glad I got a chance to talk about it with all of you. It's a vinyl please for sure. I want to give this thing honestly I'm going to give it a 7.9 out of 10. It's got its moments where it kind of strays a little bit, but for the most part it is solid, cohesive, brilliantly put together, and it's really cool to see Matt make an effort to put out another the album really after, quarter of a century. So hope you get a chance to check this record out, and I hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2024. Stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews, and tune in to Classic Wax Monday mornings at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.